First Nations in the Cowichan Valley are struggling to come to terms with a recent rash of suicides, and they're coming together in the hope of preventing it from happening again. Hundreds of people gathered to search for solutions today, and they were joined by the National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations. Sean Atleo says suicide has become an epidemic in First Nations communities across the country, and something must be done to stop it. CTV's Chandler Grieve reports.
It's a community in crisis, searching for answers.
I think it is a crisis, even if one suicide, that's a crisis.
It's something we don't understand, and that's why we need the session today to talk about it.
4 young people have committed suicide in the past month, 2 from the Cowichan tribes and 2 from neighboring tribes in Chemainus.
It really hurts because I was in that predicament when I was younger, and I battled it and came out, and I'm still here. And
with emotions still raw, hundreds gather in Duncan to search for a solution, answers, and to simply seek support for a troubling suicide trend in the Cowichan Valley.
Aboriginals have the highest suicide rate. I think Duncan is at 33%, 34%, something like that. And that's the highest in the province. Something has to change.
From our perspective, they seem to be having a lot to live for, but we don't know what's in their mind, and they've taken their life.
Gathering the people. This is where the strength comes from.
Assembly of First Nations National Chief Sean Atleo is calling for action, saying we as a society need to make an investment in Aboriginal youth.
Fastest growing segment of the Canadian population is Aboriginal young people, holding at the same time the greatest promise for the future of this country. And so to invest in their future right now, recognizing that there are urgent and crisis needs in places like Cowichan, should compel us all to action.
The issue of suicide is often not addressed publicly, but today the chief of the Cowichan tribes spoke openly about the day he almost took his own life.
I was hunting on Mount Wilburn Mountain, and thought about taking my life. I was all alone, and the thoughts kept coming to me to just go ahead and do it. And this is the kind of pressure that comes on a person when they're depressed.
Wasn't that many years ago, my own village, as I suggested, where we had literally dozens of attempted and a few who did end up taking their own lives. And we struggle, as the chief said, in a moment like this of confusion and pain and despair. And we reach out to one another for that support.
Elders are taking the lead, making plans to educate themselves about the signs of suicide and increasing opportunities for youth, so they always know there is light at the end of the tunnel. Chandler Grieve, CTV News, Duncan.